Good morning and greetings from Northumberland on the 22nd of October. It's another dark October morning, and we're faced this morning with a very interesting Bible reading from the end of St. Luke's Gospel. Let me just read a little bit of it to you. You'll hear the rest of it later. I came to bring fire to the earth, and I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism in which to be baptized, and what I stress I am under until it is completed. Do not think I have come to bring peace to the earth. I know, no, but rather division. 5 in a household will be divided, 2 against 3, and 3 against 2. And it goes on to talk about mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws and all this sort of division. That bit from St. Luke, those words of Jesus, contrast very much with the reading from Ephesians that we use also today, which is about being grounded in love. So how do we make sense of it? Well, I think we make sense of it by the fact that what Jesus says is a reality. That sometimes living and proclaiming the gospel can lead to argument and criticism, and can seem to be divisive. Jesus himself was at the centre often of a storm because he said things that the authorities and the religious leaders and even the people found very difficult. Let me give 2 examples of that this week. Now, I'm not saying, first of all, that people have to agree with one side or another. Well, you will agree with one side or another. You have to agree with one side. But what I'm saying is that this is what happens. At the beginning of the week, the bishops were very heavily criticised for making statements in the House of Lords which said the government needed to be very careful about breaking its treaty obligations, about being unlawful after entering voluntarily into a treaty. And they were very heavily criticised, and some people, a Tory MP for example, said, well, there shouldn't be bishops in the House of Lords. Now, this seems to me to be a very strange thing. Conservatives believe that the church and state should be in some ways linked. But to say there shouldn't be bishops in the House of Lords is to say there shouldn't be an opinion that is different from ours. The bishops may or may not be right, but they have a responsibility to say what they believe to be the right message informed by the Christian gospel. They may be wrong at some times, but they have the responsibility to bring that Christian perspective into the governance of our country. And it will lead to argument. But argument is no bad thing, because sometimes through disagreement and debate we get a better solution. Another example is the question of free school meals, which was debated by Parliament yesterday. Many people, church leaders and bishops included, feel that there should be an offer of free school meals for the most deprived people during the half-term and Christmas holidays, because for some families there is real need. The majority in Parliament voted against that yesterday, and it won't happen. And today I see Christian leaders who run food banks and other things speaking out. And they will come in for criticism for speaking out. But again, it's an important thing. Whether you're Marcus Rashford, a footballer, or whether you're a vicar of a parish in a very deprived area, you have a responsibility to speak the truth, and to speak it in because out of love for people who are in need. And sometimes we'll be at the centre of a storm. And Jesus recognized this. Jesus recognized that to live the gospel and to speak the gospel would sometimes cause division. We pray for those who have the difficult path of saying these things. And we pray for us all that we may seek to live out the truth and speak out the truth.